welcome back after such a long hiatus. We're back with another episode of the Foxy Bros podcast, and I'm not going to mess about too much. I'm your host, Foxy, and this is the show where we talk about topics that grab our attention and see where the conversation takes us. Last time we talked about Marvel's future, and this time it's almost like a follow-up. We have seen Spider-Man. We have seen the trailer for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And on this episode, we are going to talk about this. Our theories, our thoughts about it, and where we think it's going to go. But if people have not seen either of these, and I don't know how you couldn't, because Spider-Man was in for 3 months, which is one of the longest films to be in cinema for a while, like a long while. But yes, there will be spoilers ahead, so you have been warned. Now, let's get on the brass tacks. I loved it. I love Spider-Man. I thought it was a fantastic payoff to not only the trilogy for Tom Holland, but it was so good to see the legacy characters come back. What about yourselves?
I completely agree. It was a beautiful swan song for Toby and especially for Andrew. Like, at least Toby got his full trilogy, whereas Andrew was always left short, which they kind of touch on in the dialogue as well when they're talking about the aliens and him just being like, I fought a guy in a suit once. Oh. And then the not so tongue-in-cheek, you're amazing.
Yeah, I fucking love that.
It's good.
Like, we can't forget like the meme. The meme of the imposter fucking Spider-Man. Huh, you Peter, yeah, yeah, huh? Parker, yeah. Woohoo. But like, I love the humor between them, all three of them, because it was great to see a lot of the similarities, but you could see the differences in them. And like you said, we got a little bit of a backstory for Andrew in the aftermath of like Amazing Spider-Man 2, which if they were to do that now, I would be all on board for, because I like the idea of a more darker Spider-Man, because he's just lost his optimism. He's lost his he just doesn't care anymore. And I like the idea of that. Whereas like Toby, this is great. This was a great way to just finish it. But he was treated with like the sage kind of, like he was given a sage like treatment, that he would just come in, impart some wisdom, and that's it. Like, he's gone. But
the beauty I thought of, especially Toby's portrayal in No Way Home, was that the MCU never had an Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
And Toby pretty much filled that role.
Yep.
Which was wonderful. Because it made perfect sense for him to be able to impart that, given he'd lived it.
Yeah. The fact that they actually they referenced it. Like, they talked about it, like, actively. It's like, she was my MJ, or my Uncle Ben died. My Uncle Ben died. I don't have an Uncle Ben. Like, like it didn't happen that the similar way. Like, there was clear differences between them, but there was one or two very distinct similarities for all three. And the fact that like Aunt May was the one who we had now, like, when we had talked about before, we were like, okay, it seems like someone is gearing up to be axed off. And I don't know which one of us it was that said it, that it'll probably be Aunt May. Like, so I don't know. For anyone that did listen to the last one, you can go back and find out who said it, and then you can tell us and remind us. But no, like, as I said, it was great to see legacy characters. I absolutely loved Willem Dafoe in this.
Yeah.
Like,
he's now a Green Goblin for 2 different universes.
Yeah.
They cannot bring back another Green Goblin in this universe because it's just not going to work at all.
No.
Not at all. Like Willem Dafoe. And what was great about his portrayal this time around was the fact that it was more clear cut in his split personality, as opposed to just being a nutcase in the original. So like this was a clear like split personality that just took over.
Now, that said, I did rewatch the original trilogy after No Way Home. And a scene I'd completely forgotten about in the original Spider-Man is him in his mansion.
Mm-hmm.
And he played it marvelously, where he was scared and he was Norman, but the Goblin was talking to him.
Yeah.
And then eventually he sees himself in the mirror with the smile. And you know, I appreciate a good maniacal smile. And good God, does that man pull it off?
Yes.
That scene, the Spidey sense scene, when he caught him with the web, I watched that like a really crappy cam version of it about 40 times, and it's just fantastic. It is easily my favorite scene of the whole thing, bar the obvious. But that one is just beautiful.
Like with that, it was brilliant how they really like upped that. The fact that like and they made a joke about it. It's like, is your tingle tingling? Is it happening? It's like, yes, it is. But the fact that for that entire minute and a half, he has no clue what is coming, but he knows that something is wrong, and he needs to like be on alert. Like we didn't really see that in the previous films, but it was really upped in this, and you can really appreciate because it didn't point the obvious of like being a Norman. Like it was still up in the air. You thought, is it gonna be like Electro, or is it gonna be Lizard, or is it gonna be like you didn't know who's the main culprit for it. But I mean, like having Doc Ock there, who at the start of it is literally still a nutcase, like his brain is gone because the arms, but when he gets his when they get subdued, it's great to see him with that clarity, and he's actually seeing sense in everything.
He played a blinder as well, to be fair.
Yeah,
he was marvelous in that film.
Yes, he was. Like again, they didn't try to obscure about things. I mean, when they acknowledged that like certain people died, but like they got transported before they died. The fact that like even Lizard is like, do you know about me? Like, what happened to me? No,
they didn't. Yeah, he didn't die, and neither did Electro, from what I remember. Now, I know Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a very forgetful movie, but I don't actually think he died in that movie, as far as I remember. I remember I tried to rewatch that recently with Chloe, and she was like 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes in. She was 20 or 30 minutes in, and she was like, I'm bored. So I was like, right, we'll get to the main parts, and I just fast forward. Just at the end, it's like, it's what happens with Gwen Stacy, and her neck's broken, and there we are. That's
still nasty scene. Like
it is. It's the slap off the floor. It's still very gruesome or something. It kind of like makes you go, oh god.
Yeah, so it's like a twofer. Like she hits the head, but also like with the snap of the back as well.
Yeah,
it's like, oi, there's not a chance of you surviving that one.
The thing I loved about that, and actually they did come back to it in No Way Home, is the fact that like when she's falling and he can't catch up to her and he's falling, and it's like the first thought that comes to like at least my mind, and I presume any audience member's mind, is, you're Spider-Man, why don't you just shoot web to catch her? And then he does, and that's not the right fucking move. But and they do touch on that again.
He did. It's great as well how he did look from that Andrew Garfield's one this time, where he, instead of shooting the web, he just went, I'm diving to her because that's just going to get me there quicker.
Yeah,
that was brilliant.
Yeah,
and you can see it like Andrew Garfield portrayed it so well. in the fact that like as soon as he landed, you can see the tears coming into his eyes because he realized that if only I'd done this, I might have been able to save her. And it's and then having MJ actually acknowledge that as well. It's like, are you okay? It's like it just shows how good they can be in like obviously like people have their preference on who was the better Spider-Man, but and have their own opinions about what they think of, say, Amazing Spider-Man. But it's like even me, like I will say like Tom Holland hands down is the best overall. Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man, but not a great Peter Parker. But this film did actually like sway me in thinking like, no, we just didn't understand how deep he could be because we weren't given that like emotional levity like for it. Because
it's the best acting wise, it's the best Spider-Man movie.
Yes.
There's a lot of them between William Dafoe and the three lads and MJ and all of that. It just all the best performances of the whole cast.
Like so many moving parts in that. Like, no, go ahead. Like you had something else there. Like,
oh yeah, no, that was it. No, that was it. It's just the best. And Andrew Garfield, I think, out of the three actors, is the best actor in a lot of them because he's one of my favorite actors anyway. Because last year he had that, and he had Tick Tick Boom, and he had can't remember the other one. He played one of those American pastors. But between those three movies alone, it solidifies me in my head that he is one of the best actors on the planet at the moment. So if he wanted to do another Spider-Man movie, I'm actually okay with it. I don't particularly like the world that he's in because it's just not great and it wasn't fleshed out right. It's kind of stupid. But if he wanted to do another one, I'd be more than happy with it now because I think it would be fantastic. He needs a Venom movie. Out of all of them that needs a movie with a Venom, he's probably the one that needs a Venom movie the most.
And speaking of, in that credit scene, the symbiote is still in the universe.
Yes, it is.
Even though Eddie Brock is no longer in that world, he left his symbiote there, and oh boy, that leads to some very interesting territory because making reference to like an alien suit, and then he hasn't, and then Andrew was like, oh, yeah, like I haven't. I fought a guy in a metal suit, but no. But I think it'd be great to see Tom Holland's version with that suit and how that plays out. Because is it really going to be Venom, or is it going to be the likes of an anti-Venom, or who knows, Agent Venom? Who knows? Like it can go many different routes. And especially the fact that even before the spell to make everyone forget, which is still a bit touchy for some people in terms of the consequences for it. Because, like, if you're looking at it in a realistic sense, how is he supposed to exist if nobody knows him? Like, how is he supposed to get a place in the city?
That's what it seems like they already kind of answer that anyway, that he still needs to get his high school diploma again because he had a GED book in his box, so that gets him his high school diploma. So I'm guessing he probably went around trying to get all this information already. Obviously, we don't know how much time has passed between him getting it and him, getting the apartment and stuff, and the end of the actual end of all the what happened. But if it's a month, he probably got it in the meantime. But I'm guessing it was probably really hard for him to get it with absolutely no proof of his existence.
To be fair, it was only the people who forgot him. So he objectively still exists. Like he still probably has a social security number. It's just people don't know him.
The director's already
because like it would have his name.
Gone. Yeah, everything's gone, and no one knows who Peter Parker is. Like he's like an NPC basically Yes, he exists, but he
Yeah.
doesn't really exist technically to everyone. But they did say, all right, that everyone knows Spider-Man, obviously, but that
But they didn't know who he was.
yeah, but the people who actually knew Peter, like MJ and stuff like that, it'd be like one of those things there they can remember, but it would be how you get them to that point of remembering, basically.
Basically a loophole.
I do think.
Yeah, it's a loophole. My thought is probably to do another trilogy, and then she'll remember in the third one, which would be great. I think it will be great.
I think one of the biggest consequences, though, of the spell where everyone forgets Peter Parker isn't actually going to be seen in Spider-Man. It's in Doctor Strange too.
Mm-hmm.
Because that man is going to have no recollection of why he broke the multiverse.
Yep.
Like,
absolutely. Like, I mean, and we're just going off a trailer. Like, sorry, two trailers. And to be honest, like that first trailer that we got, it was okay, but the second trailer, oh boy, oh, I'm so excited. Like, I lost my absolute mind when I copped it. I was like, no, we're going there already. Like,
and we're apparently getting it's not the movie verse either. It's X-Men 97,
which is strange. Like,
yeah,
97. I know 97 is coming out as an animated series soon enough. Again,
it's coming out next year as an animated series. They haven't even they barely even started yet. But apparently that's the Professor X we're getting, which is different.
To be
fair,
fair,
move to go that way.
I don't know if it's going to be specifically that one, but I have seen the concept art for the mode of transport, and it does look well. The big golden floating wheelchair. But
like if you haven't seen it, Patrick Stewart has been confirmed. He is coming back as Professor Charles Xavier. And for those that don't realize, that signals mutants. That signals X-Men. That also signals the Illuminati of the MCU, which, for those that follow comics, that's a very, very powerful group of people. Like Professor Charles Xavier, Dr. Stephen Strange. In some cases, you have Hank McCoy, who better known as Beast. You also have Namor, the Submariner. Black Panther.
He's going to be in Black Panther. He's going to be in Black Panther, yeah.
He's going to be in Black Panther
Fantastic.
too. Like
Namor's actually already been hinted at in Endgame.
Yep.
They talk about the earthquake under the sea.
Yeah.
Oh, but I think it was even in the Age of Ultron. So when Bruce says Wakanda, when he's trying to pronounce Wakanda, apparently there's a point in the map that's like right in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
And that's
they referenced that in it.
Yeah.
Like, it was in the Atlantic. Like there was something in the Atlantic, and they were just, oh yeah. And then later, for the likes of was it Infinity War, they referenced it. It's like, or Endgame.
Yeah,
like,
Black Widow says that there's been an earthquake under the sea. How do we handle it? And I think it's Okoye says we handle it by not handling it.
Yeah, it's like it's an earthquake. We can't do really much about it.
This is Wakandan business. Like, we will handle it. It's like, which, if you watch like Winter Soldier and the Falcon, they tend to do that.
Yeah,
they go around and basically just like, yeah, we're picking him up and he's ours now. Bye.
Killed our king.
Like, good luck to you. But holy crap, like there's a lot like to unfold that. Like, we got glimpses of other versions of Doctor Strange in that trailer. Like, we got Defenders version, we got the zombie version, we got what else was there? There was another one as well.
Strange Supreme
as well.
From What If?
Yes.
Yeah. And a split second of a cartoon Doctor Strange as well. but it's very hard to see. But you can just see him coming out of a cartoon universe for like a split second. So, but it looks like the art style from the old Spider-Man cartoon. People are saying it's X-Men 87, but I don't think it's that. It just looks, granted, I'm working off of a traffic cone and the art style, mind. But to me, it looks like the Spider-Man 66 cartoon. That's the universe they're either just flipping through really quick, or they might be in for a minute or two, which would be different.
We also we'd be remiss if we didn't actually acknowledge it, is the fact that also Wanda is going to be a big part of that film. And we've seen that there is a couple versions of her in this film also. And if anyone has watched the What If series will know that they made a big deal about her, even in her zombie form. She is extremely dangerous. And with the way that the series went for WandaVision, she was only going to get more powerful because she figured out where her powers came from. And she was learning from the textbooks. So we're going to see a more powerful Wanda, but it's interesting to see what the other side of that is going to look like in parallel universes. Like with Stephen Strange in the What If, the fact that his evil side just that I could not let go. So he spent all this time just devouring all the evil into himself, becoming the major evil. To the point where he needed redemption. And the only way he could do that is by protecting a pocket universe. So
it's not even a pocket universe. It's it's not even that, is it? It's just the two lads fighting in just a bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was the universe that the Watcher shrunk.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I didn't know it was the actual universe. Right. That makes a little bit more sense then.
But another, actually, speaking of What If and the fact that now seems to be perfectly canon, another heavily rumored member of the Illuminati, Captain Britain. Haley Atwell returning as Captain Carter. That could be very interesting, to be fair.
I don't think she's in the Illuminati. I think they're going to go into a universe for a bit, for like a couple of minutes. And it'll be a really quick, you look familiar. And probably blown out into the next universe. I think the Illuminati is going to be the original Mr. Fantastic from the Chris Evans Fantastic Four movies. A version of Black Panther, Tom Cruise as Superior Iron Man, Professor X, and then Bruce Campbell as either Doctor Strange or Mysterio. Because he has to have a cameo in this movie, because he needs one, because he hasn't been all Sam Raimi's movies. So I think he could be a version of one of those. Be great if he was Mysterio as well from Tobey Maguire's universe.
Well, to be honest, that'd be fantastic if in regards to not only with Bruce Campbell being that, but getting people that were rumored to possibly be these characters back in the 90s when they were originally planning to do it. I mean, if you got Tom Cruise to do Tony Stark from a different universe, could be good.
And an evil Tony Stark too, like a dickhead Tony Stark with a couple of Infinity Stones, to be fantastic.
I suppose that's the beauty of the variant thing, is that you now can.
Yeah.
You can basically canonize anything and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fun. But you also don't want to get too carried away with it because of the overarching story that Marvel want to tell in their cinematic universe. Not even taking into account their TV shows, their actual cinema movies. So that's why they have to be very careful about who they pick and choose and what version.
I have a feeling he's going to have to slap a couple of worlds together to fix whatever's happening in this movie. So that's how we get mutants, basically.
Yeah.
That's how we get the Fantastic Four. He's going to have to combine a couple of universes to get them together, and then it's going to kind of mess up the timeline a bit. Where he'll come back and mutants have been there all the time, but they're outcasts still, I suppose. But I would like that if he had to do that, and that's how you bring the mutants into it, because I don't know any other way you bring mutants into this universe. If you're going to bring the X-Men in, I don't understand how you're going to do it. They could have been silent for this long if they were already there.
I'd say they could do it.
At the same time, though, in the MCU, we technically do have mutants. We just call them enhanced, specifically Wanda.
Yep. But isn't it in the comics they're different? It's like Captain America and Iron Man and all of these people.
Those are mutants. But Wanda is Magneto's.
I know Wanda is a mutant, but like she's just one. If Wolverine's been kicking around in this universe since the 20s, he surely has to have popped up already. Or if Professor X is alive, or Magneto, telling me they haven't fucking reared their heads already. So that's why I'm thinking that they have to do it in some way where, oh yeah, they've been kind of here all along, but they're just not talked about properly. Or
it entirely depends on if they actually want everything to end up in the same world, though.
Yeah,
because what they've already done is, I don't know if either of you have watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No.
But they totally blew open the multiverse in that like 5 years ago. And played with the idea that they were going through the multiverse. And that's why Coulson was still alive. And they introduced Mockingbird and had her played by a completely different actress from in Hawkeye. And it was always kind of, is it canon? Isn't it canon? But
they'll confirm that soon, because they're going on Disney Plus in like I think the same day as the Netflix shows. So if it's canon, it'll be in the MCU pile. If it's not, it'll be Marvel Legacy. So that'll shut up that argument whether it's canon or not forever. I don't think it is.
I think the beauty of it is that now everything can be. Because if the multiverse is real, then there's an infinite number of universes and every possibility is there.
Everything will be canon in its own different way. But when it comes to the sacred timeline, as Kang called it, if they're going to do it that way, like it has to still, I think they have to keep that somewhat intact, maybe making some minor changes overall. But if
the sacred,
everything is canon, like
the sacred timeline was only ever there to stop evil Kang from rising, which is actually another thing, is that like Doctor Strange 2 is coming, and the whole thing is that he broke the multiverse with the spell in No Way Home. But we've now, on Marvel properties, in some way, shape, or form, whether or not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon is up in the air. Loki definitely is.
Yeah.
He also broke the multiverse.
Yep.
We've seen it happen from a couple of angles now, which is interesting. And it'll be interesting to see if they play into that.
I think he's supposed to be in this as well. I don't know what he says when he's telling the truth in the ad. Patrick's doing it, Professor. I think he'll go to him and say, you did it, but you kind of didn't really do it. This also happened at the same time, that all these three things coming together. So it's not your fault, but it's still your fault.
It's also, I rewatched the trailer earlier, and when we see the scene of Strange talking to himself, and he says it all just got out of hand, the room he's standing in is the room that Loki and Sylvie talk to Kang in, He Who Remains. So I'll be very shocked if they don't bring the Loki side of things into it.
Tom Hiddleston is supposed to be in this, as far as I'm aware.
I'd be shocked if he wasn't.
He's supposed to be in this in some way, shape, or form, which would be great.
It's because, like, yes, we still have like Loki, like the series, like really like set up, like, okay, the timeline is being branched off at any given time and whatever, but like then you also keep in mind that we still haven't gotten Morbius. Morbius is still, I want to say it takes place before, during, and after the merging happens, because obviously like it was supposed to be around, in and around the same time as Carnage, like Let There Be Carnage, but also probably before or after Spider-Man, because there's too many elements that are just like still up in the air, like that we need answered fairly soon. Like because you have reference to Tobey Maguire's like Spider-Man on a poster saying murderer. You also have Michael Keaton being in there from the MCU crossing over to this.
I took the murderer thing as a reference to Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Exactly, but
it's
like
it's Tobey Maguire's suit, isn't it?
Yes,
it's not Tom Holland's suit. So that's the weird thing.
Maguire's, and I imagine there's another reference in there as well. So that's why I'm thinking it's.
And the whole thing is owned by Sony, which would make it Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
So like that's why I'm thinking like there's gonna be a little bit like messing about there, and it's gonna be like before, during, and after, because especially with like Eddie Brock getting zapped back to his own universe as well after crossing over. So there's some of the questions that I want answered, because at least then I can actually think, yes, I was right, or no, I was wrong. And can we move?
I think I don't know if I'm in the minority. It depends really what you see on Twitter and Reddit, but I'm not looking forward to that movie at all. I don't think I'll actually see it in the cinemas. It'll be like Venom. If I know something big happens, I don't want to know what it is, but if I know something big's going to happen, I'll go see it. But if it's just a fucking pointless movie, I'm just not going to see it. I'm just not going to watch it because I don't like Jared Leto anymore, and the character doesn't really interest me, I suppose.
That's the difference. I've said it before. Like, I'm really excited to see it. I think that he will do well in it because Marvel. I trust Marvel now in terms of their casting. They pick the right people for the roles that they're chosen for. Now, I have not seen the Eternals. I am told that it is one of the worst films they've done. No, just it.
Grand movie. Like, it's not bad by any means. It's fine. It's a good movie. I think it gets too much hate. It's not in the Captain Marvel side of getting shit on, but I still think it's a perfectly fine movie. But I just have this feeling it would have worked better as a series because it had a lot to tell and it only had 2 hours to say it.
Like, obviously, like we have that, but like Marvel have a good track record, and I trust them with that. Like, so that's why I'm excited for Jared Leto to actually have a proper go at a superhero movie. Plus, keep in mind that he's not the first person to try their hand at a character from a different company and fail, and then by switching over, he's done really well. I mean, let's not forget Ryan Reynolds, like Ben Affleck have done it, like, and who else? Like Chris Evans in his first go was not good, but his second go around.
Well, the movies weren't good, but he was good.
Yeah, but still.
to make your point, to back it up. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
No, to be fair, again, much like Aaron, I think Jared Leto is a terrible human being, but he can be a phenomenal actor.
Mm-hmm.
Like Requiem for a Dream. Yeah, basically. But like in Requiem for a Dream, he plays a junkie, and vampires are kind of junkies. So, you know, it could be good.
He'd be dipping back into the well, so to speak.
He's good in, what else was he good in? Was it
Dallas Buyers Club?
Dallas Buyers Club, yeah.
He won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah. He's a fantastic actor. It's just that I think Joker's tainted him a lot more than I underestimated at the time. But I did watch a couple of scenes from that again recently. I'm like, oh god, he's so bad. It was just like, you're trying too hard here, buddy.
I still maintain that his first go around as Joker should not have happened in that movie. It should have been as flashbacks, but not as a main part of the film. Like, he should not have been the main focus for it. Then for the likes of so the recent Justice League, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I want to see more because of that. The Zack Snyder version.
Oh.
In the Nightmare Realm. seeing Jared Leto in as that version of the Joker, I'm just like, I am very intrigued and I want to see that. But whether we get that is still far up in the air.
Nah, they're not going to do it. I think WB are done with him. I never see that getting made ever. Personally, I don't see it getting made. I think the Flash will definitely confirm that movie's never happening.
Maybe, but that remains to be seen.
So that's actually really unfair as well. I know we're talking about Marvel. No one's excited for the Flash movie, and I know it's because people are just like kind of like not that excited for DC shows, and they're kind of copping out with the whole bringing Michael Keaton back as Batman and stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to it. And also the Flash is one of my favorite characters as well. So I'll kind of watch anything they bring that character up in.
Essentially that is like a Flashpoint.
It is essentially Flashpoint. Now, they're not going to have Reverse Flash, who is a vital component of the Flashpoint movie.
Yeah.
And the cartoon and the comic and stuff like that. But it's still fine. It's just they have to do it right. I think I watched a video a while back, is that the thing that Marvel do right is that all their event movies make sense in the context of the overarching story that they're telling. Whereas DC have now had how many movies from the Zack Snyder universe? Is it 1, 2, 3? Yeah, 4 maybe.
Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League.
Yeah, and then Suicide Squad as well, if you want to count that being in the same bubble. But
most Wonder Woman and Aquaman had fallen in there too.
Aquaman would have been in the same universe, yeah.
And Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So.
And Wonder Woman.
Like, Wonder Woman was like, it was more a flashback, like, to her origins, but there was glimpses of like from after Batman v Superman. So that's understandable.
But like their movies.
It was just for like placement in their universe they were building.
Just let's hope they never mention 1984 again. God.
I didn't watch it. Didn't watch it.
Don't.
I had no interest in it.
The only good thing about it is if no one's seen it, I suppose spoilers. They brought back the original Wonder Woman as like, was it like a god? Not Wonder Woman, but like a god to Wonder Woman.
Amazonian like goddess.
Like another goddess or something, which is fine, but they still did it in such a bad way. It's just like, oh my god. I don't know how the director managed to make such a great first one and just completely fuck the second one. It happened. Oh my god. But what I was trying to say there was DC, Marvel, everything of making all their event movies like No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness fit, whereas DC seem to be doing it to just fix stuff.
Yeah.
To be fair, DC and I generally don't like the DC EU, but it always struck me as being very aimless. And I think a lot of that has to do purely with Kevin Feige. Like, I think the MCU, the reason why it's so coherent and the reason why there's a thread running through everything is purely because of Kevin Feige and the fact that he is overseeing all of it himself.
Yeah.
He's the Vince McMahon of the MCU, and it is to its benefit.
Like that's what they let Zack Snyder kind of take the reins of doing that, and you can't let someone who has a fundamental misunderstanding of effectively every character except for Batman take control of a movie universe by slapping in their version of a Civil War 2 movies in. It's just like, come on, why? Why did you do it that way? And it was like, it was going to be like that, and then there was going to be all the other movies that go along with it, and then you had all the stuff with Cyborg and that actor, so he's gone out of it, so that makes no bloody sense anymore. And it was just like, oh, by the end of it, it would have fixed itself, and it would have been like, you would have had a happy Superman. I'm just like, you shouldn't take 6 movies to get to a happy Superman. You should take 6 movies to get to a more grizzled Superman, but not a happy one. Like, Superman and Lois do Superman better. He's a happy Superman, but he's also, he's brooding and when he needs to be, but the writing in that, and he just doesn't understand Superman. I go in with Zack Snyder right here, no, if I don't stop. But he doesn't understand Superman. like him letting him take control of Captain America and not like, and then just making him a part of the Nazis in the first 5 movies, and then making him a good guy in the last one. That's essentially it. Like,
now I don't know if you have, but have you ever watched like videos on YouTube of Kevin Feige watching his actors do interviews?
No.
When he's in the room and they're doing interviews.
Hang on,
Like,
is one of the actors Tom Holland? Because I imagine he's very nervous.
Sitting beside him with a knife going, go on, say something.
Shut up.
like not
Shut
just
up.
with Tom Holland, but like I mean, like if he happens to be in the room and someone is like being interviewed, like, and they know he's there, they're looking at him just like, I don't know if I can say anything. It's crazy. Like, and
are you talking about the Haley Steinfeld thing? Where she got asked about the Young Avengers, and she immediately goes, "Am I allowed to say something?" And he just kind of looks at her.
You just fucking did.
Yeah, like she done that, and I think someone else did it as well. Like this was almost I think it was in regard to one of the TV shows that they were planning to do, and then as soon as this thing happened, it was gone. It was axed straight away.
Jesus,
because they couldn't. Like it just messed it up completely. But
that's rough.
like it does be hilarious because anytime I've seen video compilations of Tom Holland, and he has to be guardian.
Oh man, they told him in Endgame that he was going to a wedding in the final scene. He shot that thinking he was standing at a wedding. That's how desperate they were not to let the leak out.
Did you see the other clip? He managed to do so well during the Norway home thing, but he actually gave away that he wasn't in a very vital scene.
Oh, he said he wasn't on set for the filming.
So Zendaya was on about the whole her falling off the scaffolding thing, and he was like, "Yeah, that looked great. I wasn't there, but it looked great." And then there's like about 20 seconds afterwards where he's just like, "Oh no, oh no!" He's just like looking at her going, "Oh, it done so well." And no one copped it beforehand. It was only until well after the movie came out that it actually came out that he said it like that. And it's just like, oh, how did no one cop that? I mean, it wasn't a well-kept secret anyway that the rest of them were there, but that would have been the confirmation that people needed. Like
it does be brilliant because like anytime you see him with someone, especially the likes of he always tends to be saddled with like Benedict or Tom Hiddleston or even like Zendaya. Zendaya like is constantly at him. True. Benedict is constantly saying they're fishing. Don't do it. Like don't say anything. Like he's actively telling them in front of the reporters as well. It's like they're fishing. Don't do it. Don't entertain it. Like or the times where he actually like he genuinely does not mean to. He's so excited about the stuff that it's like, oh yeah. Oh wait, we're live, are we? Oh,
that's on the record, you say.
like the Mark Ruffalo one. So when he says jokingly, "Oh, we're all gonna die in the next one," I was like, Don Cheadle's like, dude.
Dude. Like
he's like, and then he's like, he's like, that's not happening. That's not happening.
Like it used to be Mark Ruffalo would be the main culprit, but then Tom came along and was like, oh no. Like to the point where like he was almost canned. Like because of it. Like, lad, we can't keep you if you're gonna do this.
You're a liability.
Like these are like there's NDAs for a reason.
Remember when he gave away the first 15 minutes of Ragnarok on Instagram Live?
Ruffalo? Yeah.
Oh man. Was there not a thing where Endgame, it was a screening for that? Tom Holland was of the understanding that people had just watched the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas they were just sitting there waiting to watch it.
Yeah.
And he runs up on stage and shouts out, "I'm alive!"
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Entire theater of people just like, oh.
Did you see? Have you seen Batman yet, Jamie?
Not yet.
I can't say it.
No, go on.
No.
Yeah.
You need to enjoy this. You need to enjoy that.
Well, it's not a major part of it. It's the small little bit at the end to do with the Irish lad that I was on about earlier. Now.
Oh, right.
Sorry, Joan from Eternals. I've already heard about this with the
so he's
supposed character he's going to be playing.
He's supposed to be the Joker. He always does the laugh. Seems like it is. But in some junket for another movie he does, somebody asked him the question, are you excited to play the Joker in the new Batman movie? And the whole crowd hadn't seen it yet. So they're just screaming like, what? They're just like freaking out. And he's just sitting there with his face gone red going, get me out of here, please. Get me out of here.
I don't need to be here. No. No.
As I was saying earlier, I don't know how I'm going to get used to it because he finds it very hard to lose his Dublin accent in most of the roles that he does. And it's just the Joker going, give us a spare €2, please.
Stani bud. Very different Joker.
How about a magic trick? Like just randomly, like just a concoction of different like accents. It's like, want to see a magic trick, lad? Yeah.
To be fair, that sounds way more threatening.
It actually does, because it's just Robin Pattinson's going to be like, he's just going to be out of character going, is he acting or does he want to actually show me? I'm very scared right now.
Why am I suddenly intimidated?
To be fair, I've heard fantastic things about the Batman movie. I wish for the franchise that they'd move the fuck away from the Joker, though. It's so overdone.
I want Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, fucking
all the characters I want a Batman movie. I want Mr. Freeze in a Batman movie.
I want a
really good movie,
Bane.
Yeah, another Bane.
Proper Bane would be good.
Proper Bane, like the smart Bane. Like
that'd be cool.
I know. Like we got like Tom Hardy, and that was really good, but to a degree, it wasn't fully like loyal to the character. Like
we got cheap Swanson that time.
What we should get is when they made a comic book of 66 Batman and they made Bane a Mexican wrestler. That's the Bane that I want. That's where Bane came from. He was a Mexican wrestler in the 66 Batman and he broke his back.
He made a muscled up, roided out of his brain luchador. Is Brian Cage available? I think I might have solved this.
Yeah. Like to the point where he was actually doing that in Mexico. He was actually wrestling as Bane.
Fucking wonderful.
Like he was wearing the mask and the outfit, and he was coming out and doing like, because he's so jacked. It's like,
that's a level of self-awareness that I can appreciate, to be fair.
I know. The clip should be on YouTube. Like you can definitely look it up. But like obviously, like we like there's a lot of stuff that we didn't even touch on it because like MC is so vast that even us just trying to talk about one film and a trailer.
Sorry, just before we move on from the Batman thing, the villain that I really want to see with justice done to him is Black Mask. Because he's the anti-Batman and there's fucking money to be made there. But go on.
Matt Reeves alright, so he wants to do quarter roles though.
Anthony Hush.
Hush should be excellent. Hush would be
excellent. They kind of
no. I know where you're going. No.
Well, do you know what? It could have been something in the first hour. But as I said to Niall, my cinema messed up, put the wrong poster on the wrong screen, and I missed the first hour of the Batman movie. Because I walked in an earlier showing. And I sat there for about 20 minutes going, I feel like I'm missing something. Like, don't know what it is. And then it was only an hour and a half in and the movie ended, and I was like, I know what I was missing. I was missing the first hour of the movie. I was like, I thought this was 2.5 hours. What's going on?
Brutal.
No, but like going back to what I was saying, it's like MCU is so vast, even with just the film and trailer. Like we still haven't even touched on everything that happened in that, and that just shows you how rich the content for that one film and a trailer can be. And it's like, just like with the last like episode that we did on MCU's future, is that like it's exciting, like for the stuff that like, where can we go with this? Like, there's so many avenues that we can go, or different avenues to take from. So we can speculate all we want, but until we actually see it on the screen, none of it's just fun to like theorize about.
And even then, one thing that Marvel's exceptionally good at is laying breadcrumbs. And some of the stuff that we've seen just in either throwaway comments or in short little scenes that completely set up the next phase are massive. Like the end of Shang-Chi, when Bruce Banner shows up as Bruce Banner, not Professor Hulk. Like, there's a whole element of what's going on there with that.
Yeah, how'd that happen? Like, what made him change back? So, again, that'll hopefully be explained in She-Hulk, which will be out soon. Sure, like, we didn't even touch on like Charlie Cox.
Oh yeah.
He's a very good lawyer.
A very good lawyer.
That was so well done.
Yes,
that was so well done. Just with Tom Holland using the Spidey senses to turn to grab it, but he already had it, and
gone.
Exceptional work.
No, but right, I am going to wrap up here because I know Aaron has somewhere to be, and it is late, and Jamie has just come home from work and is straight onto this. So, but I do, for anyone that does listen or watch this, if you're watching, it'll be on the Nerds of Us channel on YouTube. If you're listening to this, the podcast will be available on all platforms where you get your podcast from, Spotify, wherever, Apple. But please send us comments, drop us a message, let us know your thoughts, theories, even suggestions for future topics or other episodes. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please let us know, because I'd love to have you on. And I'd like to thank my two friends for coming on, because
it's real low. He'll take anyone.
No. No, but like I do appreciate them coming on and actually like being nerds with me and talking about this thing, because I've been wanting to do this for a while and I just couldn't get everyone.
We've been wanting to do this since like a week after the Spider-Man movie came out.
Yeah. We're now like a few months later, and it's like, yeah, I'm only getting around to do it now because I can't get everyone together to do it. I wanted to do a big group one, but that didn't happen. So, but no, like, again, thank you again, and thank you to anyone who listens or watches the podcast. And we shall see you again in the next one. So peace out. Bye bye.